I want to bring all praises to you today in the Lord's name, Jesus Christ. My name is Ryan Mack, president of Optimum Capital Management. I'm coming to you from Detroit, Michigan, over here in the United States of America. And I want to say today that I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of the brilliance and the brilliant minds that have been molded and shaped and crafted to go on to a life in a higher institution. The things that you will do, I'm so excited for. I want to first thank the Hand of God Foundation and Global Concepts for the work that you are doing with these young men and women that are going to change the world as we know it. In Jesus Christ's name, I believe they're going to create a change, and I'm so excited. And I also am so excited because the motto of this event is giving hope, redeeming lives, and radiating love. Giving hope, redeeming lives, and radiating love. Oh, love is the most powerful word. In the human language, there's nothing more powerful than love. Love is God. There's nothing you can do that you can't do without love. Love will cause you to change the world as we know it. Love will change yourself. It'll change your community, and it'll create change for everybody around you. And through love, through Jesus Christ, through God, you can redeem lives and you can give hope. I remember when I was walking home, it was 2007, and God showed me the power of love, but he also showed me the power of hate. I was walking home and I saw, in 2007, I had just started my financial planning company, and I saw a young girl who was killed. And the paramedics had just arrived on the scene, and they were just in the process of pulling the sheet over the top of her head. And I was so distraught. She couldn't have been any older than 12 years old. It was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I knew exactly what happened. There were a group of Bloods. It's a gang that's over here in America. And they are a very dangerous gang, especially in the Brooklyn, New York area. And they were patrolling a corner. They would always sell drugs on this particular corner. And I guess a rival gang had come across at the wrong place at the wrong time. And because of the hate that these individuals felt for one another, and the animosity that they had, and the anger that they had within them, and the loss of hope. The most dangerous person in the world is a person with no hope. Because a person with no hope will not only will they make themselves their own life a living hell, but they'll try to make your life a living hell. Because they have no hope. So we must do as the motto says and give hope. Well, these gang members got together and they started to shoot one another. And that one of those bullets filled with hate hit that little girl. And that little girl was killed. And I remember that evidence of hate. Every single day I had to walk home right over that same sidewalk, in the blood-stained sidewalk that showed evidence of the hate that existed in my community for far too long. It was a reminder of the hate that is destroying our community, that is destroying our people. And it was God that then revealed to me, it was trying to give me a sign that says, Ryan, it was hate that broke us down, but it's love that's going to build us up. So you must do some things to show love to these people. You must love them and embrace them within the grasp of blessings of Jesus Christ's name. So I pulled them together, and we started to meet with the Bloods and the Crips and the Latin Kings. And it was a group of us that wanted to show love to them. And we started to ask them, what can we do to make sure that you don't have to shoot and rob and kill any longer? What can we do? Well, we had a long conversation. The next morning I met with the leader of the Bloods, of the largest set in Brooklyn, and we sat down for a long conversation. And it was a loving conversation. It was a conversation filled with love, and we embraced one another, and we talked about what can we do to have tangible empowerment. As your motto says, I wanted to give that person hope. I wanted to redeem his life before his individuals and his friends and colleagues, those evil folks, took another life. I wanted to radiate love to that person. And we did that. We started to help him form his business, and he got his GED. It's called a high school equivalency diploma. He went on to get a certification and to be an electrician. And 10 months later, he had 10 employees and 2 project managers. Most of those other individuals that he employed and gave jobs to were other Bloods. Those other Bloods that now that because they were employed, they put their guns down that had so much hate, and they picked up some hammers that had love. They put the guns down that destroyed the community and broke it down. They picked up hammers to rebuild their community and get paid from it through economic enterprise, and had love. And how did all this happen? Because I had started my own business, and I was successful enough to do the thing that was necessary that I could afford to take off time to help him and show love to him. My friends, my young, brilliant minds, this is exactly what you're going to do. There's something that's inside of you right now that's itching to get out. There's something that's inside of you right now that God has placed only inside of you. See, listen, we are all here are exactly the same, and that we are all here for the exact same thing. We are here to make the world a better place to be. We are here to make sure that when we pass away and we go on to pearly gates above, that we left this world in a better condition than when we found it. But we all have something that's inside of us that causes us to make us do this thing, this task of making the world a better place. It's something different. It's unique. It's a set of skills and talents that only you possess. It's a set of skills and talents that nobody else has, and that's why you must guard it with your life. It's a set of skills and talents that allows you to say that you can create anything in the world through Christ Jesus. You can do just that. See, as you go on to a world of higher learning, I want you to remember these things here. I want you to remember that, yes, that old mindset. See, over here in the States of America, we have a lot of sayings that I think really don't belong anymore. And I want to just say that we want to give you a new mindset, a new direction of where you want to go. There's a saying over here in America where we'll say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Well, no, I don't want you to pay attention to that. I want you to say, when life gives me lemons, I'm going to throw them back and go get what I want, because God has given me the ability to do all I can through Christ Jesus. There's a saying here in America that says, I am waiting on my ship to come in. No, I don't want you to pay attention to that. I want you to say that I'm not waiting on any ship to come in. I have the skills and ability to build and create my own ship, and through Christ Jesus can sail anywhere I want to go in this world. There's a saying here in America that says, I am waiting on my opportunity to knock. Well, no, I don't want you to wait any longer, young men and women. I want you to understand that you can build your own door and walk through it yourself, because through Christ Jesus, God has given you the skills and ability to do so. I want you, as you go on to a high institution of higher learning, I want you to remember these. If you wake up early, you will find an oyster and maybe even a pearl. But if you wake up late, you will only find a shell. I want you to remember this. If you have not worked for it, you have no right to ask for it. I want you to remember this. Results and excuses cannot exist in the same space. I want you to remember this. The power of words cannot be measured. I want you to remember this. Don't speak because you have to say something. Speak because you have something to say. I want you to remember this. Failure is nothing more than a learning lesson on the road to success and greatness. So don't be afraid of aiming too high and missing your goals. Be afraid of aiming too low and achieving those goals that are too low for your greatness and the things that God has put inside of you. I want you to remember, as you go on to an institution of higher learning, that there are going to be some friends that you thought were your friends that you might have to cut off, because not everybody is meant to go on the journey that you're going to go on. There are some people out there that are so afraid of achieving their own greatness that they will spend a lifetime trying to discourage you from achieving yours. Those individuals can't go up with you on this journey. And there are some folks who are going to try to tell you that, oh, you know what, if you've come from a life of poverty, and you might have, and if you've come from a life of not having as much as other folks have had, I want you to respond with this and say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Some people will say, well, you know what? You're going into a world that's set up for you to fail. I want you to say that God will fulfill the desires of my heart. Some people will say, well, you know, there's nothing wrong with if you continue to fail, because you were never meant to be successful in the first place. And some things are just not meant for you. Well, I want you to say that no good thing will be withheld from me. Some individuals will say, well, no, you're supposed to be a victim. And and the road that you're choosing is way too challenging, and the greatness that you're striving for is not something that you should be striving for. I want you to say, the floodgates of heaven will be opened up for me, and I'm going to go get exactly what's been promised to me. You see, when Jesus cured the blind man, he spit into some clay, and he told the blind man, he said, walk 2 miles to the riverside and you'll be able to see. Now, it was at that very moment the blind man could have said, Jesus, I don't feel like walking. Why can't you just bless me right now? Because the blind man understood that sometimes God gives you an instruction to justify the blessing. And I want you to really pay attention as you go on to these institutions of higher learning, because that is exactly the instruction that you're going to need to fulfill the greatness that is inside of you. Because the instruction you follow is the future you're going to create. And by God, I believe you're going to create the most phenomenal future. I believe that you're going to create the most fabulous future. And they're just like the little girl. I want you to redeem that little girl's life. Whose life are you going to redeem today? Whose life are you going to redeem by showing love? When I was over there, and I've been to Africa, I went to South Africa, and I would love to come back to see you. I would love to come back to the motherland to see all of you and the success that you all are doing. I was in South Africa, and I saw the hatred that the vineyards of those individuals down there that were exploiting those individuals. And I got a chance to meet the president of KWV, and he was essentially paying many of those individuals that worked the vineyards. He was paying them with wine. He wasn't giving them money. He was paying them with wine. So 30% of the students that we taught over there suffered from fetal alcohol syndrome, because when their parents were giving birth to them, they were highly intoxicated and always drinking wine, so their minds were not fully developed. And I had a chance to confront the president of KWV, and I told him, what are you going to do to try to change this condition? What are you going to do to provide housing to these individuals that are creating so much empowerment for you and your firm and your company, making you so much money? And I challenged him, and I did all I could until they had to stop the meeting because it was starting to get very heated. And I'm not one to hold my tongue for anyone. If someone is trying to exploit those who are poor, that is the worst thing someone can do, and that really gets me upset. And so I challenged him, and 6 months later, when I was home, I got a bottle of wine in the mail. And this bottle of wine, I believed it was a joke from the president of KWV, but actually it was a student from South Africa. And she had said, Ryan, Mr. Mack, I want to thank you because the class that you taught for us over here was so inspirational. It was so motivational that I wanted to show you that I created this bottle of wine not to say that I'm going to go into the winemaking industry, but I created this bottle of wine to show you that there's nothing that the oppressor has over me. There is nothing that the oppressor can do that I cannot do myself. And so she now went on to nursing school, and she's graduated from nursing school already. And now she's creating change in her community because she believed that there is nobody or no thing and no weapon formed against her shall conquer. And that's what I want you to believe too today, my friends. I'm proud of you. I love you. And I believe that you have a life full of greatness in front of you that is so great, that is so bright, that the world is going to have to put on shades just to see your brilliance walking down the street. God bless you all. Peace from America.